the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today on Curran Murphy. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well, man. Doing well. Had a nice rehearsal this morning, so I'm good.
Good. So this is exciting. I've enjoyed your other work you've done in the past. I don't think I connected the two at first. I'll be honest with you,
That's all right.
because I've heard of the albums. Oh, he did this album, and I went back, and then I've heard like I went back in '72. I just checked that out recently. So heavy. Oh my God,
Thanks, man.
so heavy. I do love it, but I'm always like I'm so distracted because I want to hear the guitar so much, but the vocals are so heavy and it keeps throwing me off. You know what I mean? Because that's it's a focal point of the song is the vocals. But I'm
Yeah,
trying to like listen to all the guitar riffs because you got a lot of stuff going on in that album
yeah,
that just kind of there's so much going on. Did you produce it? Because I know you do production.
yeah. So all my bands, so like 72 Legions, Shatter Messiah, Sunless Sky, yeah, all these bands I've played in, I've always produced the albums
Mhm.
because there's no recording budget. So I try my hardest as to be a producer and not a
This
guitar
one
player.
sounds good. I haven't heard the other. I love listening to production, and I'm very intense about it to
Mhm.
the point I even I'll talk about Venom when I had Jeff on 2 years ago. I'm like I love the first couple albums and I love your riffs. To be honest with you, the production I would have loved to have your guitars more up in the front. He may have been slightly offended, maybe not, because it's a sound. I get the sound, I honor the sound, but as a music nerd geek looking back, I would have
Yeah,
loved to hear the guitars. It's not a disc. I get it's a classic sound and that's wonderful. But sitting down now with like a real good headset on and I'm being 53 years old, I would
yeah,
have loved to hear the guitars better for anybody. You know what I
right.
mean? So when I hear a production like this, it's a heavy album. It's important that you separate everything, the frequencies, otherwise it
Hmm.
gets muddy.
Oh yeah.
And then with the Cookie Monster vocals or whatever you want to title them as, it makes it really hard. And they're separated. I mean, that's my whole point. Is there's just so much going on, like
Mhm.
good stuff. Like
Thank you.
the picky uni stuff, it's gonna take a while. And
Yeah.
for me to focus on, I'm just like, oh wait, because I hear the vocal go here, and I'm distracted because I'm listening here. And then that was me hitting the table on an earthquake. And then
No, that's
here
right.
is a guitar riff. So there's a lot. So I want to encourage people also check out that album. And there's a EP, right? It's an EP or a full album.
So there's an EP called we just called it the 72 EP, and then there's the full length album which came out in March of this year, and that's called What a God Could Be. And those are on Spotify, and we have a Bandcamp link for 72 Legions and all that. And so you can buy hard copies or buy the downloads, and then you can of course stream it on all the
Yeah.
streaming
Yeah.
platforms. Uh, so
I hear you on that. I even put this show up on Spotify because and it's not something I listen to. It just because that's what people want to
yeah,
listen to it. I make it convenient for people.
I
You know,
mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I wish that it was managed a little bit more properly from a business standpoint, but
I will,
the hell do
and
I know?
we're in a weird spot. No, but I don't. But this is interesting. So I actually spoke with an opening the opening act. I talked to Rob from
Salem's Child.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, they're going to be on the
yeah,
whole tour with us. That's really
yeah, they
cool.
are
I'm excited
awesome.
about
So
that.
I actually spoke to him yesterday. Another thing I jumped into, and so I'm like, oh, if they're the opening act, I can check them out because it's gonna be a good band. They're not gonna play a whole tour for a crappy band. That's not what Tony's gonna do. I checked him
No,
out, loved him. So I interviewed him, and we were talking about, it, and he did the same quote that a lot of people do, and I can't disagree with it. But I try putting a good spin on it. Most bands are just traveling t-shirt salespeople. I'm like, okay, loosely yes, but here's my nerdy take on it. It is merch because that's where you make the profit. But if you're doing albums that are crap, no one's going to want to be representing you because you are selling shirts. You're proud of that band. If you just did a sucky album and you're like, aren't there a bunch of sucky albums? You're gonna be like, yeah, but the 5 albums back, it was really good. This band, you know what I'm saying? You're representing a shirt that represents something you're very proud of. So your music,
yeah,
it's got to be matched up with each thing. So you're not just, you know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
how you
Well,
look at it.
I think that quote is it's accurate, but it's also easily taken out of context because most
Right.
bands, when you sign a record deal, when you sell a record, you're not making that money. The record
No.
label makes the lion's share of that money because they've advanced you money to make the record and all this other. But when you're out on the road, the t-shirts that is where a band is able
Right.
to make the majority of their tour profit if there ever is any at the end of it. So, oh, I'm a t-shirt salesman. When you're on tour, that there's an element of truth to that, but in my head,
Right.
I'm on tour, playing songs from a whole bunch of different records. I'm not playing songs like, hey, here's the
Right,
t-shirt song, here's the other t-shirts,
right.
that's all we're playing. So, but
There's no singles with the name
yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
That
yeah.
arena,
So,
that. No, that's my point. Like
yeah,
I really don't. I get what he's saying because it makes 100% sense. But I'm like, oh, I don't want people saying that because it's not knock towards Rob. He's a fantastic kind of great guitarist. But I was thinking about it afterwards too. I'm thinking, God, I don't want people to look at the bands like that because, like, their band, they're a great band. They're not, you buy the shirt, you go to see the band. It's a good show. It's a good band.
yeah.
So you guys are Venom Inc. It's a good band. So you're wearing a shirt because you're proud of them because you're proud of the music.
Right. And I mean, we're still, Nuclear Blast is still asking us to support and tour for, There's Only Black. Came
Mhm.
out in 2022. So the label, Nuclear Blast has to be thinking, well, it's a good record. They like the record.
Yeah,
You guys need to get back out and do more. Okay, twist my arm. You know,
yeah, right.
I love
It's
to it.
it is a good album, but it is a good album. It is probably the overall strongest. But you want to have, you always want to have your next I mean, your newest album should be kind of one of your favorites because you're trying to do your best every time.
Well, of course, every artist always says, well, this is our best record ever, and it's like, well, that you always want to elevate your art, your
Exactly.
music, and your writing, and your playing, and all these things, and again, I think it's a great record, and
I do too. I do
I
too.
like the way Tony organizes the set lists, where he leans in heavy on all the Venom Inc. stuff. So much great stuff from Ave, and so much great stuff from There's Only Black. And then of course
Hmm.
all the legendary legacy stuff that he puts in the set list. So
Is
it
there any Empire of Evil in there? I was just listening to that this morning. Is there any?
um so
Just
I
curious,
Tony gave
actually.
so Tony so near the end of the festival run over the summer, Tony
Hmm.
gave me a 58 song list, and he's like, "Here, learn these." I'm like, "Shit, all right." And there's a bunch of stuff across all of obviously all the Venom Inc., Ave, and There's Only Black, and then a whole bunch of what I would consider like deep cuts off the things that, like when Tony joined Venom,
Hmm.
Temples of Ice, Wastelands, Primeval. But you're gonna have to come to the show to see what's what. So I'm gonna tease you. I'm gonna tease you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, people are listening and watching right now. Connecticut show has been canceled. So if you have tickets, you're not aware of it, check out the information to whatever you need to do to get your money back, switch to the shows, or whatever you need to do. I'm not that guy. Just that's a heads up for everybody because that's where I was going to go. But we should actually make the official announcement. You because no, it wasn't so official as you coming into the band. You were filling in at one point,
Correct. Yeah.
but officially, do you want to announce yourself? You're
Well,
officially.
so, I mean, officially, with Mantis saying that he's taking a step back or stepping out,
Mhm.
Tony has offered me the position to play guitar for Venom Inc., and I have gleefully accepted. This last year has been awesome. All the shows, traveling the world with
Mhm.
Tony and Jackson, and playing these shows and working my ass off to play the stuff right, to play it as close to the record, or in some instances to play it as close as how Mantis would play it live, um,
Mhm.
to pay that respect. And Tony has asked me to join the band, so I'm
Congratulations.
absolutely overwhelmed and thrilled to announce, that, I'm going to be I am the lead guitar player for Venom Inc. It's wonderful.
Brand new, brand spanking new. You got that new
Brand,
guitar, you get that new guitar player smell, just like the new car
Yeah,
smell.
well,
Brand new, right?
there's some kind of smell. I'm
Right.
not
At the end of the tour, it's not the same smell, but I would take a minute to add this now. I've said this before. So Venom Inc. was a band of partial members of Venom,
Yep,
or actually mostly members, but
all
it
members.
evolved originally, yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm talking like the past. This was just down to two of them at one point, like recently. But what
right.
happened to people? Just tell it's not a tribute band. What this is it started out with one thing. Tony was a member of Venom. He did
Yeah,
like 4 albums with them. Spent like most of his life on the road with them, being part of the band. So it wasn't like that. And then at this point, they started creating their own music, original music, which became Venom Inc. But Venom Inc. also supports honoring the music they all loved. Now,
yeah,
that being said, Venom Inc. they have Empire of Evil, self-titled. then
Yep.
became Venom Inc, which helps the fans. Now
Yep.
Tony said he has enough material; it doesn't have to do any Venom, but the fans like it, and he likes it. So that's all it is. A lot of bands with other songs like that. I just put out there. I don't. It's not a cover band. It's an original band that honors them, as
Yeah.
you will. And I'm looking forward to you coming in and adding your stuff because I know you're going to honor because you've been in other bands before of legacy, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
right, exactly. And people know that. So if they don't, people can look you up and take the deep dive because I've just started that some of your stuff. You have a great history.
Thank you.
So oh, you're welcome. So I mean, I've seen the clips online, and you paint so good with the band, but this is not, a tribute, whatever. It's not. So let's get out of everybody's
No.
mind. This is Venom Inc. is a band, and it's moving. It is a moving machine, breathing animal,
Yeah.
moving forward, and people need to celebrate it as a band that's just original. You know,
I agree with everything that you said there. Some people might say some negative stuff about it, this, that, and the other, but you know, I'll I'll draw a parallel in regards to when Tony asked me to come in and, can you fill in for Mantis?
Mhm.
And right off the rip, like even saying that, I got goosebumps, like fill in for Mantis.
Mhm.
I mean, here's a guy and a band and a thing that is inspired my heroes, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, that's my school where I came from, the Big Four, Testament, and all,
Yeah.
you can trace that lineage all the way back to what Venom started, to what Venom did. And so for me to come in and help keep gasoline in the engine so the machine can keep running because like Tony said, hey man, there's obligations, there's promoters that have booked and paid money for tickets
Yeah.
and this and that, and it can't stop. But you can't, Jeff needed to step back to help take care of his wife like a man, macho,
Mhm.
like I'm putting everything about my life on hold to take care of my wife. That's macho as fuck. And then to be struck with that terrible second heart attack and to take all that pressure off of Mantis and say, look, don't worry about anything. You don't need to show up. You don't need to get on a plane. Get right, get healthy, get yourself good. And to bring me in, just the fact that Tony even called me, I'm sure Tony's got a list of 20 guys that, can do the gig, want to do the gig, blah, blah, blah. But for Tony to choose me and hand me the opportunity just to fill in and meeting fans on all these shows we played, South America, Indonesia, all over Europe, Poland rock, to meet these fans and thankfully, wonderfully, not one of them has come up and said, well, I wish it would have been Mantis. The only Mantis conversations I've had with these fans has been, how is Mantis? Is he getting better? When is he going to be okay? And my answer has always been, I'm not filling shoes. I'm helping to keep the seat warm. I'm here to
Right.
to pay honor, tribute to that legacy and that legend, and to do it as best I can so the fans aren't disappointed. Because in my head, I think, oh man, they're gonna be bumming that it's not Mantis, so I can't go up there and eat shit. I gotta do my very, very best to learn his solos as note for note as I can, to learn the songs as best I can, and my ego goes to the side, and it's all about, there's one song, "Welcome to Hell," when we were in South America, and we haven't been able to have rehearsals as a band
Mm.
at all. So, we're down there and there's a riff, the verse riff I'm playing, and the drummer, Jackson, he's like, "Hey, Curran, you're doing this one thing, and I know that it's probably right, but live, I do this accent with the Chinas. Can you follow the guitar chords with that?" And I'm like, "Oh, what?" So, and learning to do that stuff right. And I've told both Tony and Jackson, like, man, I have no ego about it. If there's something that Mantis does or did that's not on the records or that you want to hear or that it should be heard, man, you're not hurting my feelings. You're not pissing me off. Fuck you, tell me. Shit's got to be right. Shit has to be
Well,
how these fans expect. It's the
Well, I think
most
that
important
that's
thing.
what this is. This is the band Venom makes. This is not a bad thing, like a bad way of him leaving. He left because of health and his family. He may
Yeah.
do his music. He may do solo music. He may do his project, whatever,
He's
whatever.
already
That's fine.
he's already
Yeah,
released, I think, two songs with like videos
yeah.
and stuff, and they're cool, like rock and roll, heavy
Which is something
metal.
I know. I know he likes that, and it maybe work out that he can just do small things at home, do it in his home studio, be close to his family, maybe do a
Yeah.
gig if he wants. It honors his health, which is paramount to everything. He
Yep.
rescues cats. He's
Yep.
got to be around for those. And then, of course, his wife, that was the first thing we talked about. But on top of
Absolutely.
that, I mean, you respect the music. It's just like me. When I give him a hard time, I'm like, I want to hear your guitars more. That's the guitar nerd in me.
Well,
I love what he did. I'm not saying I don't want him to change anything. I just want it louder.
right.
I want to hear. I always want to hear every album. The guitar's louder.
Right.
Zeppelin, ACDC. I
As
want the guitars to always be the loudest thing. You know what I mean?
as
In
a
studio,
as a
over the
producer,
vocalist.
I could probably speak to why things are the way on those classic legacy records. That they obviously budget constraints and you can't mix and mix and mix. But I think the other thing that is way different than nowadays is the audio limitations of the equipment. Pushing certain frequencies too hard or certain things too much, you distort what you're mixing down to. You're doing mixing down to tape from multi-track to two-track, and then the other thing, remastering it or you know getting it cut to vinyl is a very, very almost black magic kind of thing. You can't have too much low end, or else the needle will skip out of the record.
Just
You
do it
can't
with
have
self.
too
You know what I
much
mean?
high end. These things are so crucial to have properly balanced that sometimes things like, well, the guitar's got to sit back a bit. So what we'll do is we'll push the reverb, which will give the appearance of a little more guitar because it'll fill out, but it also won't push the frequency to skip the needle when it's cutting on the lathe or distort the two-track mix down. Man, as a record producer, there's so many things about
But as a
old
producer,
school.
you do the same thing. You listen to it, you're like, oh, I just wish I could. It's not about that. It's just the production value. You just want to hear it to its utmost. It's not about the risks. The risks are fantastic. I love it. That's listen,
Yeah.
I'm still to say. But as the production end, I'm like, I would love to hear it maximized even more so because it's so much better that I don't think everyone's getting. And I also want to say, I don't think people. I mean, it was the beginning of the genre of music. They didn't know how to record it. They were still learning their own sound. They were still
Oh yeah.
evolving into their own sound. So how
Oh
do
yeah.
you? I mean, there's still rock bands in the 80s and 90s that still weren't getting their sound. The producer was doing what they wanted. They didn't understand the sound. So if you've got your own genre of music, you're almost creating right there.
Mhm.
You probably have a young producer to begin with, and they're like, I don't know how to capture the sound. That's a niche sound they have. Now, as the time's gone on, all versions of them that I mean, the production has just gone up
Yeah.
because sound is established. I think even then, those first four albums, they didn't know what they're producing. Like, is it bottom end? Is it heavy? What are the fans like? I don't think you know what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of different levels in that. But to the point, his music's fantastic. And somebody with you who's gone back, you have a history of honoring people in production, and your own love for the music of the band. And the
Yeah.
fact that the band has been working towards its own thing to stand on its own legs, but has no problems leaning back into the legacy because it loves what it is. I mean, because that's where they came from. That's where Tony came from. So this is just really a continuation, you know. Um, and I'm excited to keep it going.
And,
I can imagine it stopping because of it. That'd be horrible.
well, and if you think about it, again, we said it earlier, Tony was in Venom and they
Mhm.
did released four albums. Mantis started Venom back in
Yeah.
the 80s, it's late 70s. And
Yeah.
so when Venom Inc. came to be, it had, three members that were all from
Yeah,
Venom
because
that weren't doing Venom. They weren't thinking about doing Venom or this, but they played a show where they played some classic Venom stuff.
I
And
think the promoters came to them actually. The demand was
yeah,
for somebody to do it.
and so right there, they became Venom Inc. And Tony, I think, put it really well in an interview a few weeks ago about it. They wanted to incorporate everything about what they were doing right then and there and what they had done in the past together
Mhm.
and separately and make it Venom. And that was kind of the catalyst for it. So all these years, they've not ignored their legacy, their history. They've embraced it where some bands that have to do a big change or change a band name or change a
A
member.
new, yeah, different singer, to that era's
And so
music
now we're not
anymore.
we're not going to play any of those songs. what an insult to fans. In my mind, it's like people love those bands and the members, and man, wouldn't it be cool if they did this song? And I mean, I know they might not, but man, it'd be so cool if they did. And then for them to release new music and embrace that as well, and not just be like a nostalgia act
Right.
or a cover band or a tribute band. And so with Mantis retiring or leaving Venom Inc., would it be again, would it be an insult to the fans to abandon that? And, you know, I just think that people want to hear those songs. And every show I've played, nobody has complained or like, boo, you shouldn't play, fuck you. It's been, and that to me just means, okay, I'm doing it right for these fans. I'm doing it right for Tony. I'm doing it right for Jackson. And I'm doing it right for Mantis.
Right.
And, I've always said all the way leading up to, Mantis's announcement, it's like right now the plan is I'm going to be doing, the next couple of months, but Mantis could call tomorrow and say, hey, I'm ready. And that's it for me. And yeah, I'll be bummed, be disappointed I don't get to do this and this and this. But at least Tony and I have already talked about it. I already know that at some point it's going to come to an end, and that's okay because at least he's being honest with me, not bullshitting me, right?
To be honest with you, being a lifetime fan of Venom and watching his health, I don't see him going on the road again for a
Well,
long period of time. It's
I
a health.
also,
I wouldn't if it was him. I would hate to see something happen to him on the road. I don't think it's
and
wise for him. I think
yeah,
him doing solo stuff and little projects is creative but safe, health wise.
and when I started filling in and playing, last year or yeah, almost last year, Tony even said, "Hey, just reach out to Jeff if you have questions. Reach out to Mantis if you've got bits you can't learn or this or that." And I'm sitting there going, "Man, I don't want to stress him out. I don't want to bother him with this." And so I've never reached out to Mantis, not like out of any kind of a man, fuck that dude. No, 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 no. Out of, he's dealing with his wife's illness.
Respect.
He's dealing with his health issues. And lo and behold, there's, hundreds and hundreds of hours of, Mantis and Tony playing a bunch of the songs
Yeah.
that, I had to learn. And all right, cool. Because on the record, there's not a solo. It's like a whammy bar delay dive thing. But live, he's written something. Well, the fans are probably going to expect that written thing. So I better learn that, and, getting to pour over hundreds of.
Maybe. I think I would say this next album and you're still in there and you're doing it. I think by the next tour, it's also going to be, what are you going to add to it a little bit? Because live, you can add a few things. You got to honor the blueprint,
Have to,
but
have to.
you have to. But you are a certain guitar player. And if you wanted a carbon copy, a million people, I mean, that's what's so great. That is what's great about his riffs, his guitar playing, his originality.
Yep,
He's a
absolutely.
fantastic songwriter,
Yep.
fantastic, love his music,
Yeah,
love the music they did together. So that's where he's original, you
yeah.
know? And as a fan, was it sad to see him do it? Yeah, but guess what? Also, as a fan and a human being, I would hate to see anything bad happen to him. I'd rather see him doing
Right.
something at home and enjoying it because he's got nothing to prove. Not that this is a proving point, but I'm saying his legacy's there. He should just, keep being creative and be healthy. That being said, this band, is Venom Inc., has two albums that are solid original music, and there's a third one getting in the can, getting ready. Being, I mean, that's like what that you don't need other cover songs. So cover, they said does be sarcastic, by the way. You don't need the other songs. You just happen to do it because you were all in that band. You know,
Right.
the guys in Venom now, of course, by now someone probably been in there longer than most versions of the original band. But the only
Mhm.
original one is really Cronus from the original lineup of the three. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? But really, anybody's not those three altogether would be technically a cover band if the fans are really going to do it that way. Technically,
And
but it's
look,
not. They're just not, if you want to see Venom, you see Venom Inc. Then you go see Venom. You get two Venoms to see, and I think I'm a man too. So maybe there's three out there.
right.
See them all.
Well, and that was actually so I'm a big fan of Cannibal Corpse. I just
Mhm.
like that. I dig
As I
old
do.
death
Yeah.
metal. And they put out that DVD a few years ago, like the Centuries of Torment DVD. And they came to the point in the DVD where Chris Barnes had like, I'm quitting Cannibal, I'm doing 6 Feet Under, or
Yeah.
whatever that split was. And one of the A&R people for Metal Blade was like, look, you can be mad that, Chris Barnes isn't in Cannibal Corpse and they've got Corpse Grinder now, but really what you got is two killer bands now. And so
Yeah,
you can go see both killer bands.
yeah.
And, I think Venom just went down to South America last month, and we were down there a few months prior, and everybody still went to see Venom, and everybody loved what we did and came to see Venom Inc. And it's a great opportunity to, hey, you get to see it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
That's my point.
Come to both. Have fun. For me, it's not a competition. For me, I love to play. I love to tour. I love to make records. Let's go. Tony is still learning who I am as a person and now as a band member. And he's like, hey, Curran, we might have like 4 weeks in the US. I'm like, 4 weeks? That's not enough. Make it 8. What? And he thinks I'm joking. Or like, hey, we're gonna go and tour Australia. Great. I'm at the airport. When are we leaving? Oh, wait, what? I'm like, dude, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I love it. It's ridiculous. I love playing shows and being on the road. We just played the hometown show for Tony and Jackson in Newcastle, the Biker Grave, a couple weeks ago, and that was lit. Whoa. Goat Whore, I Hate God. Oh my God, Discharge. Oh God, it was unbelievable. But we played that. We started early and we played 20 minutes over, and we had an hour and a half set. So we kind of played a lot, and it was great. And about 20 minutes after we got off stage, I'm like, man, is there somewhere we can go to set up and play again? Like let's play again, man. It'd be fucking great. I'm a goof like that though. I just love playing shows.
That's the energy the band needs, and that's innocent, honest, and respectful, and what you want. Um, and then the next thing is going to be you doing I forget that joke, doing Nevermore Inc. But that's a bad joke there.
Oh, hey now, hey
No, well,
now.
no, the ink part. That's a
No,
joke.
no, no. Hey, hey,
That
hey,
was a
hey.
hey.
So the Nevermore thing, Jeff and Vantar just did that announcement.
I just saw. I didn't
I'm
read it. I saw something about it.
I'm wildly curious what they're gonna do. Jeff and I had dinner together a few years ago in LA at the Whiskey with um, Chris Broderick's wife, Stephanie Cabral. She's a very famous photographer. We're all sitting down having dinner in LA a couple of years ago, and he was kind of lamenting about how Nevermore ended before it really got its due. And I
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
I agree. I know. I do too.
And
I think he's underrated too. I think he's
yeah,
known as a guitar player, but I don't think he's known like he should be known.
I agree. He's one of the most brilliant musical minds I've ever been in a room with, much less having to keep up with as far
But
as
he's very innovative. I think his guitar style is very innovative, and I don't think enough people give him credit for it in
he's
the big picture.
he's one of the top 15 guitar players on the
Yeah,
face of the earth. He's literally a musical genius. I can't overstate that enough. And that's not me like kissing Jeff's ass.
no, let's just be
It's a
honest.
it's a fact. I've been in the room with the guy. I've seen the stuff that is too over the top and heard the stuff that's too over the top to be on a record. I tell this to people, and I don't want to get on a big Nevermore tangent,
No, I was just making a joke. I mean, it's kind of funny.
but
I like the band. I actually like the band. I'm interested though.
but the stuff that has been released as Nevermore, Jeff Loomis solo music. What was the band he did with the bass player from Cannibal Corpse? Damn it, it was Conquering Dystopia. And
Oh, okay.
you have nobody has heard, in my opinion, a tenth of the musical depth and genius that Jeff Loomis possesses. It's terrifying. It's incredible. So everyone can take that to the bank. So I'm very excited about the Nevermore
Yeah,
thing. And
I'm always interested in that kind of stuff to see what happens.
and
What happens?
yeah, so I wish nothing but awesomeness
No, I know that. I
and
was
they're
doing, you know,
and Jeff's and Van's due. They're due for what Nevermore was and what I know, in my opinion, it's gonna be and can be in the
well,
future.
and I could say this:
So have fun.
why would he do anything else? Nevermore is probably the most commercially known thing he does. So if you already invested time in that, anything else is rebuilding at this point. He shouldn't have to. He should be able to branch off on something he built. That being said, the joke was everyone's been posting. Venom Inc, Venom Ltd, Venom like whatever, right? Because people, the trolls do it. Now that's why I was joking with you about the Nevermore Inc thing
Uh,
because someone's going to troll that because I just want to be somebody to punch in the comments. Um, Funny, it's palpable the amount of appreciation, respect, and love you have for all these guys, which
well,
all of us do. They're music nerds, most of us do,
yeah,
because it's just
I
a big
mean,
family.
that's, Nevermore is where I got my start, my professional start. I was always just their touring guitar player. I've always been very clear about that. And but again, Jeff and I would sit for hours, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day working out parts like picking patterns and palm muting sections. And he was so passionate about the music that he wrote and recorded. And I think that's kind of where my attitude was forged about, you know, on the song Sound of Silence. There from from Dead Heart of Dead World. There the chorus or the da 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 da, it's this big kind of
Mm.
heavy, simple couple little chord changes, but um, Jeff was so adamant about the air in between on the palm. He's like, no, no, oh no, 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 it's not this. It's like this. It's got this thing, and we would agonize over those details, and so that is imprinted on me to agonize over those little details of like, well, what the hell's going on? Instead of just, I'll just do my own thing. Well, I'll put my own style on it. Yeah.
Right, and
Some,
that's the point about it. I mean, people that love him have taken the time to, just like everything else, just like with all the other ones we just talked about, under the
yeah.
microscope of your Mantis, of things like that. And I think you're up there with these guys too. I'm not gonna, um, I can't compare full albums because I haven't heard enough. But I think you're confident. You're an awesome guitar player.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. I have much respect for you. I've seen you play like on, I've let you see you live, and I will at some point. But I know the work you've done, I know who you played with, so you've got the chops. So I'm very interested to see some of the stuff moving forward. So really, kind of two questions towards the end of this.
Sure. Fire
A,
away.
are you gonna be part of the songwriting? I know a lot of the albums been worked on already with Tony.
Well, so that is well, that's a great question.
Oh,
So what's been happening, and here's the plan. Here's how Tony's broken it down for me. So we're gonna release Venom Inc. is gonna release two live EPs, one studio EP, and then a full-length album. Now, Tony says that there's already an album in the can. I don't know if that means that's going to be the studio album because Tony's been sending me lots of demos. Here, check this out. Check that. And just being on tour with Tony and playing all these Venom Inc. songs and playing Venom songs has inspired me, just it's unavoidable, to just write. And even, just as the fill-in guy, I was just, hey Tony, I wrote something, let me know what you think. I'm just curious. And he's like, oh, well, gee, this could be on a record. Oh, this could be. I'm like, well, okay, but I mean,
So,
Mantis,
well, yeah, but
you know,
things could change if we're
well,
not live. Whatever's new though is exciting.
yeah, well,
Creating new, you go back a year or two later might be not as much fun for
right,
now.
and so everything's up in the air, in my opinion, and where everything lands, I'll be fine because if there's nuggets of gold in in the vault, it would be dumb and horrible of me to, well, no, I'm the new guitar player, so none of that can ever be. No, come on.
Yeah,
It's
but you know what's cool? Can I say this? I was the bogey, but I'm going to tell you what I thought. I always want to say this. Sometimes if a band gets something done like that, and then they get something a change, and they say, "I wrote all this new music," and they try combining it or get a weird album, or whatever. Sometimes I almost think it's better to take that album that they had and just freeze it in time because there could be a time that you're going to be in a weird time, whatever. The band puts it out, you're like, "Oh, it's that great classic sound." It was that certain line, it was that certain moment that magic's happened. You have it captured. And if you write music, then if you're still in a role writing music, keep writing music because it's not always going to happen.
right.
If you have those nuggets put aside and you have a perfect thing of a certain time capsule, it's once you come up with something cohesive. Sometimes
Yeah,
an album is kind of a lot more cohesive before you start adding new to it. You know what I mean?
right.
That would be a good thing to kind of also save if you guys
Yeah,
have new.
and Tony's got you know, he has a battle plan, and I think that started when we were doing South America, and we've been recording every show. We've been doing multi-track recordings of every single show. So Poland Rock, Rockstadt, Motoculture up in Brest, France, all the South America dates, everything. There's multi-tracks of everything of us
Good.
playing, and we're going to do the same thing on the Beyond the Black tour. This whole US tour, every show we're recording live, every single show. And you know, Tony wants to do a studio EP, so I feel like that, depending on what Tony thinks it's got to measure up, right? It's got to, you know,
He's not gonna let it out. I'm not even there yet. I think I thought in my mind, if it's not good,
well, and
it's not standards. He's been doing it.
yeah,
He has more albums
and
out.
that's the thing. So, I'm sure, Tony's probably got a backlog of material where, for Venom Inc., he and Mantis had to, well, hey, all right, we're going to do 10 songs on the record. And I don't know if this is true, but 10, so I'll do
Right.
five, you do five. All right,
Right.
cool. And, there was talk before Mantis had made his announcement because nobody knew where Jeff's mind was at in regards to, is he going to come back full time? Is he just going to do European festivals? Is he just going to come up and play one or two songs? Is he going to do all the writing and then Curran will record everything? Or will he do all the writing and Curran will just do some solos? Or will Tony and Jeff do the writing and Curran will pop in here and there on stuff? Or will Curran write stuff and Tony write stuff and Mantis write stuff? And then there's so
Right.
many variables of how it could be, how it can be, how it should be. And I just told Tony, look, man, once again, fuck my ego. I don't have an ego about it. I'm thrilled to be here with the opportunity and I want to contribute and I want to make it as painless and fun for you, Tony, for you, Jackson. And I don't want Manus to be stressed. And the ultimate thing for me is the fans happy. Fans happy. That's it. Fans happy. I fuck it. If I don't get to do 14 sweep arpeggios in black metal solo section,
Right.
dude,
I think it's
fuck
going to be
off,
a
man.
mixture. Yeah. I didn't think. I think he's definitely open. And I think whoever's going to be the best product for the band. It's interesting to have that many albums, two live, the studio EP. That's almost like you're trying to fulfill like an album contract. Like everything at once. Like we need four more albums from you. You're like, all right, well, here we
I
go.
think,
It's like
well,
we're going to zap the thing. Actually,
I just think there's an excitement in Venom Inc. right now. Like Tony is super excited about, you know, the direction things are going. The Newcastle gig, the Biker Grave Fest we played, my flights were delayed getting out of the US and I was like 3 hours late. And so it pushed getting to Newcastle back 3 hours, 4 hours because we had to drive there, Tony and I. So we were supposed to rehearse at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the day before the show. And we didn't rehearse till 9. And we rehearsed until 3 something in the morning. And Tony stopped at one point. He's like, "What time is it?" And I'm like, "It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock." And he's like, "This has never happened in my entire, I'm having the most fun at a rehearsal. And I hate rehearsals." I'm like, "Yeah, I hate rehearsals too. I can't stand it. I can rehearse at home." And but this is fun. We just started pulling songs that we knew we weren't going to be able to play live just because of time constraints, or pulling
yeah,
stuff out of the hat. Like, oh, hey, Tony, let's start the Evil Dead, off of, I think it's off Ave, or what's the other one? Not Time to Die, but How Many Can Die? I'm pulling out some. He's like, "Wait, Kern, you know that one?" I'm like, "Well, it was on the list, Tony." So, we're all just sitting there laughing and giggling and having a good time. I might have been a little bit of the exhaustion and a couple of Jack and Cokes, but still, the energy and the excitement. So, I Tony says two live EPs, one studio EP, and a full length album. I just feel like there's so much excitement about it that there could be and there could be more. And it's not about record label obligation. It's
no,
about everybody's excited about what we're doing. So why not be crazy and just, we're recording every single live show. Metallica does that really cool thing where you buy a ticket to the show, they record the show, and
yep.
you download the show that you were at. I'm like, hey Tony, why don't we really make things difficult on ourselves and do that? Like that'd be cool. Hey, I don't know. Obviously, the Beyond the Black tour starts in January in California. We start on the 8th and wrap up the first leg of this here in the US the end of February. And then we go straight to South America, Central America, Mexico. Then there's Europe right after that. I don't know how long that's going to be. Tony told me to block out April and May, so I'm hoping it's 8 weeks. That'd be fun. And then there's very real threats of Asia, Japan, South Asia, New Zealand, Australia, all of that, and then coming back and doing another round in the US because like we're not even hitting the Pacific Northwest, we're not hitting Canada, we're Connecticut. I mean, there's enough places that we weren't able to get sorted out on this run to do it. And
But there is a lot of East Coast states. I want to say that because a lot of bands, when they do an East Coast run, it's very hard for them. I don't know if it's financial. There's only a couple. They usually hit like a Boston or a New York, one or the other, and a couple other places, maybe a weird Maine, Vermont thing, and that's it. So even not coming to Connecticut, there's a lot of East Coast being hit,
I love
I
it.
think.
I love it. So, hey, I've, I've played for Nevermore, I played in Annihilator, and I've played in
Another great band I love. Another Chef, another guitarist is
yeah, and
phenomenal.
I've played in a bunch of killer unsigned bands, 72 Legions, Shadow Messiah, Sunless Sky. And, so I've been blessed, just absolutely sorted out proper, like to play huge festival stages in front of 500,000 people with Venom Inc. at Poland Rock.
Mhm.
What? To playing for 10 people in Toledo, and I don't care. So like loading up East Coast dates, just point me to the stage. Let's go. I don't care. Let's play.
That's
I'm
awesome.
here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's why I think you're gonna last in the band. I think I do want to thank you for the time. I do want to say, so you do have another band though. What happens to those guys?
Well,
And this happens a lot in rock, and especially metal, because you know, um, like it's from Slayer.
mhm,
We have an Exodus. Like so, when you have your own established band, but then
mhm,
you have an opportunity to do another thing different, and you're an artist, so you want to do different things, and don't
right.
want to be locked down. But you have begun to establish this band. It's a good band. So I mean, what happens to these guys?
Well, so the reality of it is, now being officially the new guitar player for Venom Inc., that's the number one. That's the, that's
Hmm.
that's the required priority in my mind. And so 72 Legions, it has to kind of be put to bed for a little bit. But the great thing is the players in that band, so Dan Gates, the singer guitar player, Colton Zeitler, the drummer, and Steve Fernandez, the bass player, are all such agonizingly phenomenal players. Like Colton, because of being in 72 Legions and the tours we did, he's been getting gigs playing drums. So he's been playing drums for Seven Kingdoms. He's played drum, or he's gonna play drums for another band called Almost Dead. He's touring the world. He just got back from a US tour. He's going to Europe here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so everyone is doing something. We don't have to put them up for adoption. All those guys up there, a bucket of free
And
kittens, right? So they all got something else
right.
going on too.
And
Okay,
then
that's a
and
good
then
thing.
yeah, and then Dan Gates, and the big thing about that band, about 72 Legions for me, was it was all about personal vibe, being in a band with guys that I really liked being in a band with. And so all those guys, they're monster players. They're all ready to go on tour. They're all ready to work, like what I wanted to do with 72 Legions. And they're all great human beings. So Dan's going to get something. He's auditioned for a couple of things that I think are going to work out
Okay.
for him. And then Steve Fernandez, I mean, he's an incredible bass player. Every band needs bass players. So, hey, anybody sees this, the podcast,
Well,
reach out,
that's important. I want to give a shout
contact.
out because I think sometimes artists, there's a few artists have jumped from band to band like that, and there are other bands kind of got the shaft.
Right.
I don't see that from you, and I also see this band. Probably, my thing was, I think you just probably say the band's on ice for now because it's a good band, and you don't want to throw the baby in the bathwater. It's just you're on the
No,
side, you get more time. We get more time. You can put more time into it later on down the road
right.
because it's good now. And I want people just because you're doing Venom now. I don't want people that's an old band anymore. No, there's still two albums or an album and EP, whatever the length they want to, the kids want to call them. There's still two good final opuses of music out there of this band,
Well,
and they should
and the
check them
fu-
out.
And the crazy thing about that is there's actually another 20 some songs that we've all written that are in the demo. They're demoed and ready to be recorded, but the Venom Inc. thing, it literally it dropped on my lap like an atom bomb. It was like, grab on, it's time for the ride. Okay. And thankfully, the guys in 72 Legions, Dan, Colton, and Steve, they understand and they're excited for me, and
Right.
well wishes and all that. So there's no bad blood or anything like that. And those songs are going to get finished, and they have to get released. So maybe I can talk Nuclear Blast into picking it up and putting it
Yeah.
out. Who
Right.
knows? Yeah, but you know, the music is so stupid good. That band is so stupid good, and it's
That's my
so
point.
awesome
I'm just getting into it now, and I'm like,
that I
it's a
get to.
shame. It's good, but it's a shame at the same time because I'm like, it's more
And
music. Just is there not enough time in the day? Is what it comes down to.
there
You
is
know.
not, and then again, the priority and the focus of the opportunity that I've been given with being the new guitar player for Venom Inc. It's
I,
it's so crucial that I do right by Tony Jackson and the fans, and that's it. So that's where my focus is on all that, because this U.S. tour, the Beyond the Black 2025, we're out for 7.5, 8 weeks. We're doing meet and greets at every show, which are awesome. We actually those are cool because it's like you get early entrance. We're doing special songs at the sound check that we can't put in the live set. Just it's
yeah.
we could play for 3 hours and there'd still be 20 songs that someone would be like, well, dude, you didn't play, you know, School Days. You didn't play The Preacher. You didn't play Manitou. It's like, oh, God damn, and whatever. But, so, and, like again, the meeting.
That could be an event a couple of years like Metallica did. Us 3 nights of all different songs. That's
Well,
that you guys could do.
well, I actually, when I was first, at the beginning of the whole thing with Venom Inc., I was joking with Tony, like, dude, we could do that. Just set up in a town 2 days in a row
Yeah.
and do a special package and you meet and greet in like 2 nights and like real, and it'd be less traveling, it'd be way more fun. We'd see the same people again and then new people, like maybe somebody didn't want
Test
to
it in
come.
South America would explode. That would be the first place to test it. South America.
You know, uh, Dude, I'm game on about it. I'm game on. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. But
That's right.
like, so the meet and greet stuff is incredibly cool. There's a cute little goodie bag. There's a tote and the pins and patches and it's not just like a handshake and a photo and all right, shuffle down the road. It's a hang. You come and you hang out with us, we laugh and joke and be idiots. We're doing a specialty raffle at the end of the tour. So anybody who does a meet and greet ticket, your name gets put in on a list for a raffle for a festival bag. It's a specialty Venom Inc. Well, hang on. I'm
All
kind
right.
of doing a plug here because it's
You
such a
are.
cool thing. So I don't know if you can see this very well. So this is a Metallica festival bag that Ruin Nation Clothing makes. All right. So these are all
Yeah.
handmade in the US, but it'll be a Venom Inc. bag. And it's made out of two of my personal t-shirts. One of them is a special festival shirt that you can't get in the US. And the other one is the very first shirt that Tony gave to me in October last year at the end of the first Venom Inc. tour that 72 Legions did, where we were the opening band. He was giving out shirts and he gave me one, and I've been using it at the gym as a workout shirt. Those are being incorporated into the bags, and then all the tour dates for the US tour only are going down on the strap. They're all embroidered on the strap. It's a really cool, one of a kind, custom made meet and greet
That sounds
gift
pretty awesome.
that someone's going to win at the end of the tours. You know, I love the idea of meet and greets, but I have never done one because I'm scared that it'll be just like a, hey, all right, yeah, cool, fuck off kind of thing. I like, oh man, that was so depressing to spend that money and like it wasn't cool. So with something like this that Tony does with these meet and greets, for me, I want them to be as special as possible for the people that are excited and interested to, do that. And I mean, help to spend the money.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
but it's the
gotta
thing. I
be.
mean,
Oh, and one other dumb little silly thing. So I'm saving all my practice guitar picks while I rehearse, so they're all worn out, rubbed down. So these are giveaways at the meet and greets too. It's like 40 or 50 of them. They're out of.
nice,
I'm
very
just
very good.
kind of dork stuff I would dig if I were going to meet and greets. Like, oh man, you know,
And it'll have your hand of your probably your skin and your DNA in it. So it
yeah,
could also be used to copy in a murder
the
scene too.
clone.
So that's
Yeah,
your
I don't
clone.
know. I
So
don't know. I don't know if the
this
world can
much, you know?
handle another one of me running around. God's very own prototype. Too strange for mass production and too weird to
Yeah,
die.
that's crazy. So there's a lot going on for you guys. I'm supportive. I'm looking forward to you guys. I'm happy.
It's really
Um,
awesome. It's really cool.
Congratulations in the band.
Thank you.
Moving forward, I'm looking forward to you. I'm looking forward to seeing your chops added to the already great sound.
Thank you.
I want to encourage people to check out 72. Obviously, check out your pages and all your Instagram stuff. Send me over your stuff if you want me to post underneath this interview of any links. And of course,
Yeah,
people
so
check you out on tour.
yeah, because
You know,
I have the links for the meet and greet for the Beyond the Black tour. That's you have to. It's a separate thing. So you buy tickets for the show, and then you have to buy the meet and greet separate. I guess they couldn't
yeah.
get that coordinated digitally or whatever. And yeah, I can send the custom audio mutation stuff for my amplifier company and my recording studio, all that
Put them
good.
together, and so people are watching. All links he's going to send to me. Go under the like all the shows I do. It goes underneath it. So you just
Awesome.
go click on it and check it
Yeah,
out. And
yeah.
then I will chat with you again down the road. I'm sure we have more to talk about.
Anytime, anytime. In case you couldn't tell, I love gabbing and talking metal
No,
and
it's all good. It's all
all
good.
that stuff. I know I'm
I,
a
I,
chatterbox. I don't shut up.
it's all good. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it, man.
No, really, thanks for having me, man. Hell, it's my first official interview as the new guitar player for Venom Inc. So it's a
I'm glad I could be your first.
landmark moment for me. So
Check him out. He's on the
thanks.
road in like 10 minutes.